Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year. I hope that those of you who joined me on the pre recorded link will find me here going live. I just pushed the button, which I never do on YouTube, that just says go live, and I just quickly put in a title. So I'll have to go back and edit everything. But anyway, welcome and thank you for joining. It is currently 7:18 in Bangkok, and I am excited to be here. Excited to be in Bangkok, and also excited to be here in the live. Please put where you're joining from in the chat, where you are watching from in the chat. So people could hear me, but they couldn't see me. And I had some images that I wanted to show. So therefore, I was unable to make that stream go. So hopefully, people will find me. I'm just going to go ahead and get started and welcome whoever is able to come. It is 2026. How many of you are like me, feeling like what happened to 2025? I feel like 2025 was just weeks ago. It was actually, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. You guys tell me in the chat if you're also over 50. I'm actually getting ready to be 60. So I feel like my whole decade of my 50s is like a blur, and that the years are going by in super fast time. So I'm really excited about the year ahead, excited to talk about 2025. Originally, I wanted to do this live stream earlier in the week so I would still be like time to process 2025. But as you may know, if you are a subscriber to the channel, I'm really grateful if, in fact, you are a subscriber to the channel, that I have been doing recorded interviews. So there's a new series going on, and I'll talk more about that at the end. So because I am not and I use Riverside, a platform I love that is 80% of the time really useful. And that platform has disappointed me before. This is actually the third time, but I've been using it for about 9 months, and I pretty much record or go live using this platform somewhere once a week. So I'll be honest with you, I've decided to kind of keep up with it, even though it is, once again, today. I don't know if it was Riverside. I actually don't know what it was. But as you know, if you are a person who's considered doing anything that involves technology, there is always going to be a problem, or the potential for the problem. So we have to be willing to just go with the flow, which goes right in line with what I want to share tonight about. I'm going to say tonight because I know everyone in my audience is in the East Coast in the US. And if you happen to find me and you're also in Bangkok, yay, excited. I do know that there are hundreds of Black expats here. So I hope that Dr. Davia finds me because she was on the live stream. I'm actually recording from her recording studio in Bangkok. So I want to just give you a warm welcome. I am so honored that 251 sisters, traveling sister friends, or potential traveling sister friends have walked into the space that I am creating here on YouTube and decided that this is for them. They love travel. They're in a season of life of transitions. And I don't want to, I do want to say that it's entirely possible to be a person who's under 50 or under 40 and feel like you're disillusioned, disappointed, with the variety of things or a complexity of things and want change. So I think the first pillar of content that is dear to my heart here is for women who are at the certain age where not only are you in transition, but you've been through enough transitions to know that this one is huge, this one is serious, that you just absolutely have to do something different, and you are not scared to do something different that's radical. What you may not know about me is I had the opportunity, one of my highlights from 2025 was to speak at a women's conference. And this book, which I'm glad I brought it because I was going to show a video of it, I wrote a chapter in here called You Deserve a Sabbatical. So, one of my business coaches for the last 3 years, Dr. Sade Adu, publishes a book about every 2 to 3 years, and this is volume two, where she takes people in her ecosystem and invites them to write a chapter about a meaningful experience in their business, and to help them like promote their brand or just clarify like a key message or core message. And that really was my core message for 2025, is finding people who wanted a sabbatical, who knew that they deserved a sabbatical. I am not the person to try to convince you that work is going to get better if you just hang in there. I'll be honest with you. The more we feel that we own our careers and drive our careers from the vantage point of strength, of what is good for us and what is good for our family and our goals and our legacies, the happier we will be. It doesn't mean that they will always be happy, but it's been my experience after working in 3 or 4 industries and also in higher education for 18 years, having just retired, 18 years of teaching in the Illinois public higher education institution, that there will always be more work to do. I have never honestly been bored, and not, I've always had to choose between sometimes 2 major goals, sometimes 10 major goals. So there's always going to be more work. So we're waiting for work to sort of slow down so that we can prioritize the things that are important to us, whether it's your career or your personal life or both. Like that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So this is the place for people who are going through that type of transition, or maybe this is something that you've been through and it really resonated with you because of the lessons that you learned during your transition, and you want to be in community to support other people who are going through that. I myself have been through 3 major career changes. So I am now transitioning from being a retired educator to a full time writer, speaker, business slash brand manager. The name of my brand, as you may know, is On Sabbatical with Dr. Crystal. And so, what I like to think of this community as is one who is providing resources, tools, inspiration, and strategies on how to actually make a transition that may seem overwhelming and difficult, particularly transitions that involve and center rest, renewal, realignment, and clarity. And the way I believe we can do this the best is to do it through international slow travel. That's the strategy that I'm currently using and that I'm currently teaching about. That's not to say that there are a lot of other ways to do it, and I have actually done it I've actually only been an international slow traveler for 15 months now. I retired 18 months ago, and I've been gone 15 of those 18 months. Gone meaning somewhere outside of um, the US. So I say that to say that this is a strategy that's been really important for me. And I feel like more people on the internet need to talk about how um, sabbaticals work before the sabbatical in terms of the planning process, during the sabbatical, like what are some of the emotional and wins and highs and lows, wins and losses of actually being gone for a long period of time. And then also after you come back. So my first guest on the new series I'm doing, Teresa Durham. Let me see if Teresa's in the chat. I don't see her yet. She may be on here later. Um, was interviewed a week ago, and she is actually just returning to corporate America. So she's gone full circle in 4 years. She had a corporate job. She took supposedly a year off, traveled for plus or minus a year, and then also has been doing a variety of other things, even though she's been based in the United States. She hasn't chosen to return to corporate America. She was doing, I think she was doing freelance work actually. But 2 weeks ago, she basically started her new corporate job. And I think it took her maybe a year or so interviewing here and there to find like the right fit. So I think that's the other thing that happens a lot of times when you have a chance to get clarity on what your core values are. You're not willing to take a position that's going to set you back. You've worked so hard to get where you are, the piece that you have, that you're not willing to go back. So let me know in the chat if you have been through a transition that was like that. You know, even if you haven't done a sabbatical or haven't done slow travel, if you've been through a transition that was so much, you learn so much and gain so much of yourself and your own agency that you're not willing to go back. I feel like that's a major theme that happens when you turn 30, when you turn 50. I think it just gets stronger as you get older. And so the intent that I have for today's episode is to really talk about growth and resilience and to sort of center what's going on in my own travel journey and how I have been able to really come back to this core of what do I need to do to grow? And how do I create an environment that is nurturing so that the growth that is difficult can happen? Having already traveled, I want to say, so in 2025, it was 6 countries, but altogether, I've been in 8 countries. And Mexico was actually a repeat. So I actually had been to Mexico before, so I don't count it in terms of 2020. It counts into a place I went in 2025, but the total number of different unique countries. So I really want you to think about that's what I'm hoping to do tonight as we let the sun set on 2025 is to really ask yourself, what is it that you need to do to nurture your own personal and professional growth? What do you need to do to nourish yourself, to give yourself the nutrients, the play, the sunshine, the fun, whatever passion projects you have? Like, how do you really lean into that? Was there anything that you did in 2025? Feel free to put it in the chat that really nourished your soul, that just gave you the nourishment that you needed to stay centered in this, um, yeah, just this journey of life after 40. And while you're doing that, I would go ahead and tell you a little bit about Bangkok. So first of all, let me say Bangkok is super beautiful and super hot. It is a tropical place. I knew it was a tropical place, but it's tropical, very different from Mexico and Central America. One of the things that I was discussing with my daughter, we have kind of like a daily check-in that most days we have a check-in. And one of the things she was saying is that because we're closer to the equator, the amount of species of birds that can live and thrive in this region is different than in other regions that I've been in. Now, there's definitely unique wildlife, right, all over the world, but the birds that are here, I don't know if it's just in Dr. Davia's neighborhood. Dr. Davia, I'm really loving waking up to the sound of birds. These birds are outside the window living their best life. One of the things I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to definitely do it before I leave here is I'm going to do a recording of the birds. So, oh, Teresa made it. Teresa, I just finished talking about you. Thanks. She's sabbatical life. So when I first got here, let me back up and say to just put a framework around Bangkok is my first stop in a 4 to 5 month sabbatical, and this is my fourth sabbatical. And I define a sabbatical as a stretch of time that I'm going out of the country to pursue a short list of goals, and we'll get into that later. There's a wonderful book that I often recommend. It's actually about part of the For Dummies series that's about planning a career break. And I think a lot of the tools and strategies that I used in planning my first sabbatical in that book have evolved and have continued to help me. So I really recommend that book. That book is available on Amazon. It's been out maybe 3 years now, but I got to be a reviewer of the book when it first came out, and that was a lot of fun. But in that book, it talked about coming up with a goal and a vision for your sabbatical. So, for example, when I went to Mexico, the theme of that stint, that 3 months in Mexico, was to visit a variety of regions in Mexico that I had not visited before, to get immersion into Spanish language. So I took a course, an all-day intensive course, an intermediate level course. How about I didn't even know that I could test into an intermediate class, which is a whole nother reason why 2025 went awry, because that class was really difficult. I am not an intermediate Spanish speaker. So Spanish language immersion, touring the region or different states in the region. Jalisco, I can't think of the name of the other states I went to. I went to 2 other regions, whatever state Mexico City is in, and whatever state San Miguel de Allende is in. And then Jalisco, I went to 3 different, I guess, areas. I went to Puerto Vallarta, which is on the coast, as well as Guadalajara. Most of my time, the course was in Guadalajara. And then I took a second course. A reason for going to Guadalajara was spend time with my friend Leslie, who has moved there permanently now after being a digital nomad, sabbatical traveler for I think 6 years. But she has made Guadalajara her permanent home and has spoken highly of it. So I chose Guadalajara as a place to take a course to get certified to teach English abroad. And the program I took is called TEFL certification. There are different kinds of certification, and there's actually a whole series on my channel that happened at the after I graduated from the course. I want to say in the month of August. So there's about 4 or 5 videos with me interviewing different people about that whole process. So if that's something that's interesting to you, check that out. But basically, this period, when I set my plan, and actually, I want to share with you also some other resources. I have created a planner, a digital planner, but I actually created it before I had done so much international traveling. So I'm actually redesigning it, and it will come out eventually. But basically, I'm a paper and pencil girly. Let me see if I need to do this. So this came from Amazon. I want to say it was $13. It's called the Legend Travel Planner. And so what I love about it is it has these sections where you can actually put your bucket list in. This is my Thailand bucket list. The countries that you want to go to, the cities that you want to go to. It has an undated calendar. So this is how I started planning this trip, um, sort of like the end of the summer, middle of the summer. So I have a Bangkok section which has research that I did, food, restaurants that I want to go. Actually, that's empty. I don't actually usually plan down to the detail of the restaurant. It has expense categories. I'm actually now using an app called Travel Spend. So if that's something you'd like to see a video about, please let me know because I'm really loving it. I learned about it from another YouTuber. I really struggle with tracking my expenses when I travel, but I love this app. It will do any currency. I have it set up for Thai bot, because of course I'm in Bangkok. But you hit the plus, you hit the category, you put the amount in, and you can put the reason or not. So, like if I put groceries, I don't need to put what groceries I bought or what grocery stores I went to, right? Or whether it was Grab or I went to the store. That level of detail is not important to me. It might be for other people, but you can put a reason or a note, and you can also upload a picture. So maybe it's a bill that you want to make that you like. I recently put in. I paid a percentage of a hotel stay. And so I put in the notes a screenshot of what the balance was. And then I also can spread that cost out over days for the days that I'm actually going to be in Chiang Mai. Research around what I need to get or my packing list. This was my packing list for um, this particular leg of the trip. The name of the expat groups and the WhatsApp group. Dr. Davia did a great video on apps that you need if you're coming here to Thailand. And I think that's a great one. I'm envisioning doing an episode, who knows when or where, on what are all the apps that I use on my phone regularly as a person who travels or lives abroad. And that has shifted, of course, depending on where you are. But I think it will be good. Just be like I learned about travel spend. I think people will really like that. There were things that I was supposed to get to bring to Bangkok that I ran out of time and didn't get. So, but I have it listed. I also do a lot of research on flights. So right now, I just purchased my ticket to Chiang Mai. I ended up purchasing a one-way ticket. 90% of the time I do a one-way ticket because if I get somewhere and I like it, I want to be able to stay. If I get somewhere and I'm like, whatever the Airbnb or bookings I have, I go ahead and fulfill those bookings because it's not worth my energy to have to find new ones. And then when those are up, I go ahead and move on. So I will be in Chiang Mai potentially 6 weeks, but it could be 3 or 4 weeks. Right now, I have the first 3 weeks of the 6 weeks booked, but it could be longer. Hotels, if I watch what is it called? A YouTube video where people are talking about the best hotels. So in Istanbul, I have a list of hotels. I did a stopover in Istanbul to get here. And so that was really nice. And then there's journaling where you can just put like how you're feeling, what you did, what was interesting. And so one of the things that I wrote a lot about here is my sleep journey. So that's the other thing I want to share, to be very honest with you, that has been a challenge is because um I have not been sleeping well. So it started with jet lag. How many of you all have heard the rule of thumb that for every hour of the time change, it takes a different day of adjustment? So I was in Atlanta, which is the East Coast, and I am now in, I don't know what this time zone is called. Help me, Dr. Davia. Tell me what it's called. But anyway, it's 12 hours away. So that means that in 12 days, my body should have been able to reset to be on Thailand time. And actually, I've been here now. Today is Thursday. I left 3 weeks ago, but I didn't arrive. So it's 3 weeks from when I was on the plane to get here now. So I arrived on Friday morning at 4 a.m. So tomorrow will officially be 3 weeks. So I would say that for the last 3 or 4 days, I have not had to have a nap. So one of the ways that 2025 taught me to lean into what do I need to do to nourish and nurture myself and my growth and my evolution as a business, as a small business owner, as a YouTuber, as a traveler, all the things, is prioritizing treating myself as a person who is worthy of having um, just the resources, the community, the supports to just thrive. I think for some reason, even though I am no longer in hustle and grind culture, I'm reading a lot of books that are talking about prioritizing rest. I love Trisha Hersey. I am constantly putting quotes of hers on my Instagram page or wherever. But the first 3 weeks that I've been here, I have really struggled because I haven't been able to sleep. It'll be time to sleep, but I will be in the bed and I will be wide awake. And so I had to nap. Basically, Bangkok so far has been the season of the extreme nap. And by nap, I mean I will be doing something, or I will say I'm going to do something, and I will go in the kitchen, take it out, planning to prepare like a salad, and I end up laying down. And the next thing I know, the salad is not getting fixed. So then I guess I'll get up, put all the salad stuff back in the refrigerator because I'm clearly not making the salad. And then I just take my clothes off and act like I'm going to bed. Doesn't matter if it's 11 a.m., 2 p.m. And I mean, I am sleeping 3 to 4 hours. And so is it really a nap? I don't even know that that constitutes a nap. So it's been maybe 3 or 4 days. So 21 days would be 3 weeks, or let's say 18 days. So around the 14th day, I finally was able to get through the afternoon without taking a nap. But what happens, the alternative is I'm going to bed early. I'm literally going to bed at 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And then I'm up again in 3 to 4 hours. And then I'm up doing games on my iPad and whatnot, and then I'll get tired again, and I will go back to sleep for like from 4 a.m. to 6 or 6:30. So basically, I'm sleeping 7 to 12. I'm up in the middle of the night from 12 to 3 or 12 to 4, and then from 4 to 7, I'm sleeping. So if you're a person that's planning a, what do you call that? A that's not a transatlantic. This is like half the world, international trip. Be prepared that it's going to take you a really, really long time to feel like you're well rested, or like you're really so one of the ways that this impacted me, to be honest with you, is I was actually afraid to go outside and to be places doing things in the afternoon, because when the exhaustion would come over me, it would just be so exhausting. I just couldn't. So the other things that have happened in the last 3 weeks, besides the sleep, which I'm now over the hump with, has been my cell phone. So I've been, as I mentioned, in eight. This is my eighth country. By the time I get back to the U.S. in June, I will have been in 11 countries. My T-Mobile cell phone, which I have a business account, it is has free international calling and Wi-Fi and roaming. And this is the first place I've been that it hasn't worked. So I went to dinner with some lovely people. I had a chance to meet. Another highlight of 2025 is I've been a part of so many amazing Black expat communities everywhere I've been. Bangkok, no different. Dr. Davy and I went to Adventures While Black. I think I put some video of that on YouTube. I may not. It might just be on Instagram. But nevertheless, we had a great time. We had brunch. We met people. They've had so many activities since I've been here, none of which I've been to. But there's also a group called, I don't know, Mature Ladies in Bangkok. And one of the members of that group is the Gallivanting Grandma. She's sort of a YouTube Icon, one of the first people I ran across, just like Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow and Adelia Borsday. I always mess up with her, how to say her last name. Um, that I just been following for years, and I finally got to meet her in person and have brunch with her and some other ladies here in Bangkok. And basically, I got stranded. So they left. I had decided to go to this bakery that I had passed, and so they left me. And I could not get a signal anywhere to get home. Of course, I don't speak any Thai. In Mexico or Central America, I would have been able to put enough Spanish together to ask for help in Spanish. Whereas here, even though you could lose a translator, it's like you have to find someone first to slow them down. So you got to be able to, it's like you can't just put your phone in their hands. So, yeah, have your phone up in their face. I'd rather, I don't know. It just felt weird. So I went to the grocery store, found a manager, and I basically said, I need help. And so she could tell I was speaking English. So they got a person off the floor who spoke English, who was actually a wonderful, lovely lady from the Philippines who helped me. She took my phone and then used my phone to put in her own Wi-Fi password. And then I was able to call a Grab to get home like that. But that sort of put a little bit of fear in me because I was like, I don't know if I want to be outside like that. So basically, long story short, because I have an iPhone and not some other kind of phone, you can't get a temporary unlock. And it took basically 5 people in 5 days of T-Mobile to help me work through that. So I share that as an example of the type of challenge that can happen if you're a solo traveler or a slow traveler, that if you're not grounded, if you're not patient, if you're not leaning into your, I don't know, Shiro energy, your agency, your advocacy energy, you could really get defeated by that. So in the moment, I was fine, but since I've been back, and I was also still in the era where I was sleeping 3 or 4 hours every afternoon. So I'm grateful that it worked out. And then I've been places since then where I like wanted to go somewhere. And I was like, I'm not going any further that I can't walk back. So, long story short, the solution to that is that I'm going to buy a new phone. And today I'm actually headed to the mall to pick up a new phone and an eSIM card and get a Thai phone number. So, I'm really excited about that, which means I'm going to be out in these Bangkok streets for the rest of my time here. And I'm also don't need a nap every afternoon. So, I'll be able to stay out till it gets dark. I'm one of those, I need to be at home by dark person if I'm out by myself. So I just want to say that one of the other things that I recognized is that I have to put myself on a schedule. I haven't been as productive here in Bangkok as I had been at home the months that I was at home. I was feeling emotionally, I don't know, sensitive because of my own bouts of sadness and anxiety and because of what's going on in the US. Definitely don't want to end the night talking about that. But what I will say is the good news is I was able to finish a book that I had been wanting to finish I started it a year ago. So not only did I get to go to an author event and was a co-host of a book signing with the other authors in the book that I shared with you earlier, but I also wrote an ebook, which which I had prepared in the media section if I was still on my streaming platform. I had prepared to show you the vision of that. But if you're not on my Substack, please go over to my Substack and then you'll be able to see. Actually, let me just quickly see if I can. I think there's a way to share screens over here. Okay, the only thing I have up, okay. The only thing I have up is the Google Gemini, so that's not going to work. Substack. I think I'll be able to get into my Substack here. So I'm going to quickly try to get over there. And let me see if it'll let me sign in. Actually, you know what I need to do? Let's see. I'm going to go here. Okay, let's get this. Here we go. It's drcrystallharris.substack.com, Control C. So I realized I was already logged in over here, so I don't have to do this here. So this way, I won't really necessarily be logged in as me, but this is the link Okay. It's making me log in. So it will make you log in. I didn't know that. I'm going to just give it another email address that it doesn't have. None. Oh, actually, that was to become a subscriber. Okay, so now that I'm live streaming, now I can share you. I have the page uploaded. Okay, so I don't know if you can see me, but you can see. So this is the one that I did. So yesterday I published an article. Substack has been also another blessing. I started my Substack, I want to say 6 months ago. And so this is an article about what 2025 taught me. Actually, some of the things that I'm going to forget to say here because it's already 7:48. I say in this article. And so one of the wins was I started the year in Panama City, Panama, and I went on this wonderful event day. It's called Cologne Day with Black expats in Panama. And this is the picture that we took there. And just the growth of my YouTube channel and my experience in TEFL certification and doing my first interview series, which has been just had the best what do I want to say, viewership in terms of people watching, clicking on the video, watching the video, and watching the whole video. Which is why I'm doing a new video series and just some of the mindset shifts that also happen. Also, while this is up, let me say this because this was another thing that I had planned to share is this is my 2025 vision board. Let me know in the chat if you did a vision board for this year or if vision boards are something that you do. So my theme was thriving in 2025. And my theme a year ago when I did my vision board was basically about really centering my podcast. And the name of the podcast was Academic Life. And I actually intended to interview and started interviewing academics who were having career and life transitions. I've since obviously refined my brand to focus only on career transitions that end in travel or that are interrupted or defined by travel, international slow travel to be specific. But health and well being was a really key focus of me to be able to thrive. I had some major surgery that was sort of like 30% of what it would have cost in the US. I won't go into the whole thing because there's a video on that. And that was a wonderful experience in Costa Rica. I went on a yoga retreat. I also had planned to go on a cruise. I booked a cruise and paid the deposit, but didn't actually go. I ended up coming here again. The cruise was the first week of December. And I did make it to Colombia and Panama and Costa Rica. The dental surgery was in Costa Rica. And I had envisioned being able to find a partner. So there's a picture of me dancing with somebody. I did actually date someone in 2025, and that was a really special experience for the time that I was in Atlanta. However, neither of us actually are in Atlanta anymore. So, and we never went dancing. So that picture never came true either. So yeah, but I definitely would say I exceeded my goals around travel and health and well-being and relationships. And I would say even my business has grown in that I still have about one or two new clients per month coming in, and I'm still creating digital products that I really enjoy products. So I feel like 60 to 70% of what I envisioned did happen. And since this is here and it's an easy play to show you, is I'm also learning how to do, thanks to my dear friend Teresa, and who put me on to AI image generation and prompt engineering. I've consumed a lot of videos about AI prompting. And so my theme for the year, this is actually going to be, it's too big to show up correctly. But anyway, so my theme is actually celebrating the crown jewel. And of course, the crown jewel is us, it's me. And just the reminder to be authentic and to be radiant. I wanted her to have natural hair since obviously I have natural hair, but my image generation skills are not that good. I asked the prompt to have natural hair, but this is the picture that I enjoyed the most in terms of the position and the size of the crown and the crown jewel, basically. So that is my theme, and I've already started on my vision board. And so these are the prompts that I answered that I am, I guess, offering to you all and to people who are in my ecosystem. So you can, I have a paid tier, which is $5 a month, but also a free tier. And at the moment, I am giving maybe 1 to 2 articles per month, and everything is for everybody. So I don't have any special. So if you are a paid, if you choose to support the channel, and I want to say it's $60, it's $50 for the year and $5 a month if you choose peer. The only thing you're getting is my appreciation for you as a paid supporter. I will eventually have some things that I will offer to the paid supporters, but since I'm still working on just consistently adding content here, and the way Substack works for me, and the reason why to me is because I feel it's a good way for me to have a deep dive into split view makes it easier. Okay, I'm sorry. I could have done a split view, so I could have been looking at you while I was sharing content. Anyway, learn something new. Yeah, so I want to be consistent on YouTube. I definitely would like to grow my channel. That's one of my business goals. A year ago in December of 2024, when I came back from Western Europe in my first sabbatical, I had 31 subscribers. And about 10 of those were people who were following me when I took Stephanie Perry's YouTube Success Academy early in 2024. And I guess there were, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 people in it. And you know how you follow each other as you're doing your assignments. So there were those were half the people, and the other half people, I have no idea who they were or why they were following me because I didn't even really post anything much. But that being said, I am now at 251 subscribers, and I'm not doing this because I necessarily expect this. I think it's important for us to each have a channel or a way of documenting our stories for our own legacy for a variety of reasons, not to make YouTube rich or to make ourselves rich through YouTube. Nothing against, obviously, monetization. And I would love to be able to learn more about that process when the time comes. But what I'm interested in doing is helping women save their lives. I was so depressed and anxious when I was working. So if I had not have retired when I did, I am pretty sure that I would have died before I hit. My mom died at 69. She retired in her early 60s. I want to say 62, 63, and then began caring for other people. And she had a sudden heart attack. My grandmother also died of a sudden heart attack from working herself to death. She was a domestic worker. And although my mom and my dad, when they became of means, they took care of her, and supported her financially. So many decades of exhaustion. My grandmother died at 64. So when I was in my middle 50s, say 55, I started looking around at other women who were in their 50s who were having chronic health issues. And I was starting to have an issue with blood pressure. I had never had high blood pressure before. And I said, basically, I'm not a person who crazes, but I was like, hell to the no. I'm not dying in this job. I'm not going to sit here and have a brain aneurysm or a stroke or cancer that comes back 3, 4, 5 times. I'm getting out of here. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I served a God that wanted more for me, and I wanted my children to have me in their life. I think they love me and they want me in their life to bother them well after the age of 69. So I knew for me, finding a way to transition into something that was more sustainable, involved more joy and more impact also on the world and the things that I care about was just super, super important. And so I really feel like that is something that was the catalyst for me to actually be in this journey. So some of the big wins, like I said, was the time in Costa Rica for the dental. I'm now pulling up my notes. The Cologne Day in Panama City with Black expats in Panama. Going to Cartagena, Colombia. The second interview that I did that was released on yesterday is with Dr. Maya Williams. She is the host of the channel Fly Like Me PhD. Her interview with me was really fun as well. And she is much younger, but has an old soul and has done so much traveling. I think 63 countries. I don't know. It's a big number. It's a big number. But yeah, so she took a year abroad after completing her doctorate as a postdoc and then went on to start her academic career. And she said so many powerful nuggets of wisdom there. I also had a big injury in 2025. I injured my good knee in the airport in Guadalajara right after getting off the plane and was in excruciating pain. Had a great experience with medical tourism there, or medical health care. I wouldn't say it was tourism because I was already planning to be there for the other reasons. But because of that, I had the opportunity to get the care that I needed at a really wonderful price. I also cover that in another video, one of the Guadalajara videos. So another thing that I put down here that I want to share is being able to not only create new products. The name of the book is Celebrate um, the Light You Bring. It's an affirmation book for Black educators, people of color, who are teachers, and just basically how to have more joy, power, and purpose in your teaching and in your educational leadership career. If you're an administrative leader instead of a classroom person, or a little bit of both, as most people are now, because schools are short-sighted. I talked already about my experience with the Black expat group. Another person that I met in my travels in Mexico and San Miguel was the anti-HR lady. She also has a channel called Ball Girl Travels, where she does curated group trips, and so that was really a wonderful highlight of being in Mexico as well. And really understanding what does it mean to build a brand that has a message that wants to change the legacy of Black women in my age group. All women, but especially Black women. I should say we center the experiences of Black women on this channel. Um, and that's part of what the method to my madness is about creating resources for educators. I think people who are in that education space are really struggling right now to stay in education if they're in the United States. Dr. Davy and I are going to do a live stream at some point when she returns. I hope that we haven't talked about what it's about, but I hope that we'll talk about like um, this next season in society, and what does it mean to be an educator, and who should be an educator, and who will stay an educator in education, and what can we do to sustain those people, and how do you take your skill set as an educator and transition that and reframe that so that it evolves in something that is even more profitable, more fulfilling, even if it's not showing up in the classroom every day. And then lastly, the thing that I wanted to talk about is my Spanish language journey. I'm really excited to say that I'm working on returning to learning French. I took French in high school and college, total of 8 years. And my daughter has helped me decide that I want to be in France. I have a good friend, Teresa, and I have a good friend, online friend, that lives in Nantes, France. And I have another dear friend from Florida who is also living in France half the year. And yeah, so I'm going to be turning 60 in France. I don't know where in France. I'm hopeful in Bordeaux, but somewhere in the Nantes, Bordeaux, Toulouse region, and I'll be flying in and out of Paris. So as a result, I've been to France when I was in Western Europe a year ago when I first left the US. And what I know about French people is if you know some French, they want you to be trying to speak it to them. So I'm going to do that, my due diligence. So I'm excited about the year ahead. And I guess the main thing I want to tell you also is that I have, I'm not going to be able to show that, but I will put a link. I have a lot of um, optimism. Sorry, this is where the fact that I didn't sleep well last night is going to show because my vocabulary and word choice. So I would like to know for you all who are in the chat, if you're still here, where do you plan to chat? How many places are you planning to visit in 2026? And what are some of the places you plan to visit in 2026? And while I'm doing that, I'll just give my itinerary. I feel like I want to share it here. It's Bangkok until January 20th. Then I'll be in Chiang Mai for till at least February 20th, maybe all the way until March 1st. And then on March 4th, I have a flight from Bangkok to Da Nang. I'm going to be in Da Nang for at least 2 weeks. I'm contemplating, I've heard so much about, I think it's Ho Chi Minh. It's another big city that's really close to Da Nang. I've heard so much about it. It might be Hanoi. I don't know which, but there's another city in Vietnam that I might check out for 2 weeks instead of spending the whole month in Da Nang. Originally, I'd planned to spend a month in Da Nang. But to be honest with you, lodging is so affordable there. Normally, one of my budget friendly strategies is to spend 28 days in one place. Therefore, I have to stay in one city or maybe do day trips or weekend trips or something like that. But that's not the case in Vietnam. So I don't need to stay in one place for 21 days. So my budget is always trying to keep my travel expenses under 1,600 a month. When I was in Mexico and Central America, because I'm in Southeast Asia and it's supposed to be cheaper, trying to keep it more like $1,000 a month. So we'll just see kind of where I end up. And then I will be going to Malaysia. I believe I'm going to Kuala Lumpur, but again, because I buy one-way tickets, I don't know exactly where I'm going. But I did book some hotels because there was a deal. IHG, I'm in the IHG Rewards Club, and I'm about to be platinum, which is the second from the high. Diamond is the highest, but platinum is the next one. So I'm excited about that, which means I'm going to have club floor access in any Holiday Inn that has a club floor. So I'm excited about that. So that's another big win a journey, I guess that you could say that I started. I'm learning about the points games and navigating the credit card. So when I go back to the US the next time, I'm going to be doing some stuff to master the points game so that when I leave for the fifth sabbatical, whenever and wherever that is, to try to use only points to travel. So that'll be exciting. I mean, I think it sounds complex and intimidating and overwhelming. I'm watching content about it, but I haven't really leaned into it because I'm doing other things like writing books and trying to become a speaker and still doing coaching. So I do have an offer I want to mention. In 2026, I am going to be continuing to push creating custom travel guides for people who have never traveled internationally, have never had a solo trip, have never had a slow travel trip. A slow travel trip, I define as where you stay in one spot for more than a month, which means you're actually living daily life in addition to a few touristy things sprinkled in. But you're centering rest, centering renewal, centering clarity, centering your health, centering your passion project, whatever that may be, learning a language, learning pottery, learning culinary arts. And so definitely look for that link, which I will put in here in the episode description. It's actually already in the episode description, the live stream that ended that I was unable to do. So I'm going to just look at the comments before I wrap up here to see who else said. And I don't know how to show comments. I've actually never live streamed this way before. So we had Cindy Speaks Life. Hey, Cindy. She said, yeah, it flew by. Welcome 2025. The tech gremlins. Yes, absolutely. Dr. Brown Franklin was here. Cindy Speaks Life. She's watching from Chicago. Chicago has my heart. I miss Chicago. I'll be honest with you. This holiday season, that was another thing I think that was going on with me to be honest, I couldn't really lean into enjoying Christmas in Bangkok because for some reason I felt like a little bit homesick. I mean, I was a little bit sleepy, but also a lot homesick. Not to say that I didn't enjoy what I did do here, but I didn't do as much as like I had envisioned. Like when I saw myself in Bangkok at Christmas, I saw myself outside doing all the things. And I ended up really wanting to be on the phone with people in the US. I spent so much time on the phone talking with people, and also interviewing people. And that's actually, what I think is another big lesson for me around you get to define what you need and what is nourishing for you. My spirit, my soul needed to have long, deep catch up conversations with people that I love and that I know and that I'm away for. And that's how I spend Christmas. Let's see. Sabbatical life. Yeah, I've said that's Teresa. She's here. Sabbatical life, Dr. Brown Franklin, Shiro energy. Yeah. It's funny how when you're rambling on the internet, just words came to you. I'm sure that's not a new phrase, but it was in my head. Flag screen blowing up the streets over here. Test run for later. The screen is black. Oh yeah, it did have oh yeah. Oh, when I was sharing, all the time that I was sharing what was in the Substack, you guys didn't see it. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Let me see if it's still here. Control V. Okay, I just put the Substack link here. This is what I would have been showing you guys. If you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Naturally curly or natural afro curly in your prompt. Yeah, because you're right, Teresa. I wanted black woman. I said a black woman over 40 with natural hair in an updo or a top knot, wearing big gold earrings and a bright jewel tone top with the gold crown. Anyway, so the prompt was something like that. But you're right. I did not say braids or afro curly. There we go. Yes, but I actually like her, and the board is finished now. I'm not actually going to reveal it in another video. I'm not going to share it today. Let's see. And Marissa Price Heels said Happy New Year. And Marissa, well, I don't want to be sharing Marissa's business anyway. But I understand that Marissa and I may soon have a geographic location in common. When I'm in the United States, I am always trying to visit Chicago. And so I hope that we will cross paths again, even though we cross paths in Mexico, in Guadalajara, that we will get to cross paths again. Um, and also, I met Teresa in person in DeKalb County for the first time. She and I had been friends online for over a year, and we got to meet in person. So, a lot of you I met in person. And of course, I met Dr. Davia here in her house in Bangkok for the first time after knowing her online for well over a year. So, I think another theme that's on my vision board for 2026 is leaning into connections and collaborations that are also part of nourishing and nurturing myself and my professional growth. So you'll see that when I get around to making that. I have a couple things I need to do to tweak the board, and I also want to do one specifically. I also do subboards specifically for travel and specifically for my business. And so I'm going to. I'm not sure I'm going to put the subboards on YouTube, but I am going to put the overall board on YouTube, just like the one you just saw. And yeah, so I know that Marissa is having an event. Marissa, if you're still here, can you put the I think it's called intention setting for the year? I have it on my calendar, but I know I have been a part of the Black women freelancers community that Marissa Price hosted for quite some time, maybe the last 6 months. And the reason I was able to finish my book is that every morning I would get up and meet 2 or 3 sisters in an online space, co-working space in her community, and just knock out 55-minute sessions. We do a 7-minute break, 55 minutes, 10-minute break, 55 minutes, 5-minute break. And I did that all day for well over a month. And that's how I was able to finish the book. So I'm really grateful for that level of community and access as well. And I mentioned that actually in my Substack article. Okay, so it has been, I started 18 minutes late, so this has been a little under an hour, but I'm going to stop here. I hope that you guys are having a magnificent watching from France. Oh, Quinn, you'll have to come back. And because I talked about you and my trip to France earlier, so I don't know if you were here when I did. But I'm so honored that you would come because it's the middle of the night there. It's like, I think it's 2 a.m. I think she's 6 hours away. But thank you so much for dropping by. But it has been my honor and privilege to host this channel and to watch it grow and thrive. And really, it's just beginning to pick up steam and thrive. But I am going to be resuming weekly live streams. And my plan for 2026 is to go live once a week and to have a recorded video once a week and to take shorts from previous, popular videos and sprinkle those in as well. So you will see me popping up on your feed if it's God's will and my dreams come true. I think it's a great way to build a brand where when you want to collaborate with other people that you can tell them you have a YouTube channel, and then you can, they can bop around and see what you do, what you believe in, how you handle the tech gremlins. Oh my God, that was so stressful. I was like, what is going on? But anyway, we got through it, and I'm so grateful for those of you who were patient and who found me over here. And that's it. Happy New Year, bon année in French, and Feliz Año Nouveau. I don't know, say, yeah, I think that's Happy New Year. So somebody put it in the chat, Happy New Year in Spanish. I should know that. I should have looked that up. But anyway, Happy New Year. I'm wishing you, and also Happy Kwanzaa. Habaragani, today the news is faith. The word for today, the principle for today is faith. And we have come this far through 2025. I know you guys got 4 hours left if you're in the US of 2025, but we have come this far by faith. And I'm so grateful to God for all the things that 2025 brought. And I am also grateful in advance for what God will do for us in the year ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bon ami, yes.